so much for joining me here on the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much for being here. And, Star Wars. Well, we have some stuff here. We had the whole D23 trailer stuff, which is okay. I don't know. I'm like, I don't care about that stuff. I'm like, until we see a true trailer, I'm like, nah, this ain't it, bro. This ain't it. But to me, the most disappointing thing about Star Wars, to me, this when Disney had is the lack of games, the lack of actually good and competent games, and we haven't had that in a long time. And since EA has gotten the license. And it seems like, when you look at game industry biz, I saw this from a video from a young but I want to get my 2 cents on it, is about Star Wars Battlefront 2. And it says that restoring trust in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Design director Dennis Brunvold reflects on how the fallout from the loot box controversy and how DICE has run back to community. I'm like, ooh. Heavy X'd it out right there. So much doubt. Okay. It says, not a week goes by without us thinking, imagine if we hadn't launched with loot boxes the way we did. Well, to me, the one thing I did not like about Star Wars Battlefront 2, other than loot boxes, the story was pretty much terrible. And, because again, they wanted the person to defect. And I'm like, you didn't need to tell a story like that. You could have something more interesting across both eras and such, and do something more interesting instead of just saying, this is, again, when I look at the walkthroughs and stuff, this is a character who has grew up in the Empire. She followed what the Empire has done. The rebels are terrorists. They are terrorists, and somehow, in the course of the game, after a couple talking points, she just jumps ship, which just is horrible. To me, that's a terrible story, because it's I think Racefic talks about this much in his video, is that the story is, could you imagine it was roles reversed, that a character grew up idolizing the heroes, joins the army in these noble wars and such, and grows up hearing stories about legendary soldiers and via family and fatherhood and all this stuff, and then just like that, after talking to someone, betrays them. Yeah. Anyway, aren't look backs akin to gambling? Well, at this point, yeah. Or EA pretty much says a surprise mechanic, which is that's just precious. But yeah. But we continue on to the story here. Is he says the article says, we would have been in a different place, that's for sure, because we truly believe the game is worthy sequel to Battlefront 1, a lot of X to doubt, and it lives up to the legacy of the Battlefront franchise. Are you sure about that? Because the real Battlefront 2, yes, I'm calling that the real Battlefront. The real Battlefront 2 actually had you pretty much go through all the eras, the eras and such in Star Wars. But not only that, but also you can actually go, you could just do so much more stuff. It felt like actually you were there and Star. And I played it. I was like, this to me is like the perfect multiplayer Star Wars game. It was the most perfect because you can play spaceships. Not just the spaceships, but also naval battles, all this stuff. I'm like, and yet in the newer games, it seems like we get less content like this. Less content, less ways of doing things, more limitations. And I'm just sitting here. It looks beautiful. It looks nice, but all we have is a gilded cage. Why is it in gaming? The only time in gaming is like we just go every next generation. It's just more limitations and more limitations. And that's why I just look at the Battlefront franchise. It's just, I mean, so much potential wasted. And I sit here and I'm like, none of these things come close to, say, Battlefront 3, which supposedly was going to be made, but I don't know why they couldn't. Heck, they had I saw the preview. X-Wing going down to the planet, and you can go in and just take down, go from space to the space battle, to all the way down to back to the planet, and actually accommodate there. And I'm like, that right there, it pissed me off. Oh yeah, it's the community is happier than it's ever been. No, it's not. I don't know. Maybe the stuff they see. They said is this also the article continues is like says Star Wars Battlefront 2 struggled to live up to EA's sales expectations. As a result, yet the team at DICE has still been updating the game for the past 2 years, and no sign of moving on to another project at the time. They had to win back the community, which is a little bit I mean, hey, it's the article will be in the link in the description of the audio, the video version of this, and you put this right here. Let me see if I can put this in the chat room. You can read along with me, Krabby, and such. You read along with me, but I think when you look at it, it says we really needed to take a step back and do some house cleaning. Not completely dissimilar to Rainbow Six Siege. They didn't launch the way they wanted, but now it's doing well and they're on a similar trajectory. I'm like, well, you can say that, but I think the difference is because I think I don't know anything about the Rainbow Six community, and I'll call up to that. But I think when you look at Star Wars, I think the bigger name than Star Wars and Battlefront, you look at the series, I think, to me, winning back community and such, and the uploads and the newer stuff, that's great and all. But I'm like, they could have put this stuff into the game. I feel like they should have put most of this game done at launch, oh, you're looking at the PC Gamer. Thank you very much for that. That's another link. I might use that. But yeah, it says that it's quote here, now it's a lot of fun. It wasn't much fun in the spring of 2018. That wasn't the best time at DICE, that's for sure. He continues on. It says, here's better. This is what I talk about. It says, we hit rock bottom in terms of player segment, but now it's climbing every month. We're delivering more content this year than we did in the first year, which again, I'm like, I maybe I'm too old. I'm getting out of touch. But I wish the majority of content should be on the disc. I understand updates. You want to have a continual live service and such. But I always believe this. I believe this in my heart, is that if you are, putting content on the disc or putting content into a game, you should fit that thing into the game proper. You should put that in the game proper. I don't like the fact these things just continue on as like, we'll keep sprinkling. Like, why couldn't you do this stuff right in the first place? That's what I feel like. I feel like when I look at that, it's frustrating to me. It's frustrating to me when you see this type of when games today, it's just like continue. And I know it's a multiplayer game, and you can have these type of newer stuff. But I wish they could just put more content like that into the game. It's just like a new model. It's just like, okay, we will release a game in 2017 that's like maybe 45% done. By 2021 or 22, it'll be 100% done. But we'll just close the servers after that and everything like that. So yeah, that's I hate that type of mindset. That's just me. But the article continues. It says let's see, announcement of all new content. Battlefront 2 before the end of the year. The roadmap features everything from new maps, models, and characters to a PvE co-op mode return of the large-scale instant action single-player battles. Again, why didn't they put this stuff in the first place? And because, hey, we need something to tie into the Rise of Skywalker, of course. Okay, yeah. If you actually have more games that actually are interesting, instead of just relying on Battlefront, you would make more games, actually some interesting stuff, single player, or if you want to do multiplayer, fine. But EA has just done a really terrible piss poor job of the Star Wars license. I mean, change my mind, because I have not seen anything good for it and such. And Battlefront, and now when Battlefront 3 comes out, it has to be another apology for Battlefront this version here. Because I guarantee you people have already left. I mean, they've already left they left the Battlefront 2 after the whole initial stuff. And they probably get some buyback because of the Rise of Skywalker and how they do that type of thing. I think there'll be some new players, but I think you can't make a second first impression. And I guarantee they have some people happy with it, but they probably lost a ton of players who were into the old school Battlefront games. They were into that type of stuff, who bought the first Battlefront and such, and were disappointed, but they gave you a second chance, and then after the loot box thing, they just said screw it and moved on. And here's something here. Article says Battlefront 1 felt like we were in the sequelized transition phase, in that we knew the end date of Battlefront content before we launched it. We knew it was going to be the 1 year DLC in the season pass, and then on to Battlefront 2. And we treated it that way, like there was a bookend to the experience. So if there's systems in the first game that might be working, we can always prioritize fixing it for the sequel. With this one, we challenge ourselves to undertake big overhauls of systems that aren't doing as well as we hoped, because this is it. This is the game we're going to be working on. That's when it feels more incremental. There's client patches every month, new feature added, whereas Battlefront 1, we were patching it every quarter with a big DLC, and it was mostly for paid users anyway. Yes, there were some bug fixes, but it was mostly paid users. Now it's always for everyone. The team enjoys continuously working on. That's a crap. I guess similar with Ron Norris. God, when the game was released, not enough content. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we should organize, but again, it's just there's so much stuff. I think a lot of people, again, we could do something, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I just hate this new generation of games that they don't give a finished product. I don't know if I am going to go to No Man's Sky, because again, it could have been great, but like I always say, you can't make a second first impression. And these companies are learning that the hard way. Yes, Battlefront 2 could be great, but once again, you can't make a second first impression. And they are basically baking their whole thing on that. That's how bad. Look how bad the first Jedi Fallen Order. It was supposed to look like to be a Metroid type of like different missions and stuff, but instead of that generic beatdown stuff they showed in E3. Again, that looked interesting. The Metroidvania stuff they could have pulled out in the E3, they put on a blog post. And they showed the generic crap at E3. So once again, you can't make a second first impression. And that is going to be the first impression of that game. And it's going to be releasing when the next Pokemon release. So guess what? That thing is going to be DOA regardless at that point. So people already decided to go and buy a Pokemon or whatever stuff that's out. They're not going to, I would not be surprised just seeing how generic it is. Generic and looking and boring that EA E3 conference was when they first showed the gameplay. That probably turned off a lot of people. So again, like I said, you can't make a second first impression. But yeah, when you look at this, Actually, let's say this. To continue on about this, and it's frustrating because this is a game series that could have been something. Battlefront could have been another shot in the arm. It could have been something great for EA to have a consistent multiplayer series. Instead, they made it more of a controversial series. First was lack of story content in the first one. Now loot boxes here, and it's still legality and such. All the legal stuff. That's the issue. Gamers also don't use their buying power as often as should. Hashtag gamers rise up. Yay. But yeah, it's just I think when I look at this at the end of the day, is when you look at all of this. But let's see. At the end of this is right here. It says right here. It says perhaps it's the curse of Battlefront 3. Following Panera's first two entries of the series, the third Battlefront was often rumored, and various leaked assets and videos from alleged prototypes have emerged over the years. With DICE still focusing on Battlefront 2 for the sequel, can we ever see a third entry? So and they go and say, even back when we first took on the franchise, there were questions whether we should call the first one Battlefront 3. I'm not necessarily sure that whatever the fan expectations of Battlefront 3 are needed to happen with a 3 at the end. I think you can get all of the Battlefront fantasies that you want from our games. That's our mindset, trying to give you everything. Instant Action is a good example of that. It's a throwback name to a franchise when it wasn't at EA. And people like that. People love that, as the article says. That's been the key to going forward. Respect the past. I'm not sure if we did a good job of that early on, but I do think we do a much better job now. Which I'm like, nah, I don't know about that. EA has, once again, it's funny how DICE and such had so much good momentum after Battlefield 1. Talking about World War 1. I still love that game to this day. And they blew it on not only Battlefield 5, but also EA Battlefront 2. Star Wars Battlefront 2. And I hope they got the community back in love with the game and such. But quite honestly, I would like to see something like a Battlefront 2 or 3, a Battlefront 3, maybe all eras, maybe the whole saga of Skywalker. But I don't trust EA to do it. I don't trust EA to put that stuff in there. I mean, I wish Pandemic Studios was still around, but EA killed it. I mean, I wish it was right there, and I really, really wish that was the case. I would love that, but looks like we're not going to have that anytime soon. We're not going to have that, and that version. But I fear what type of version what we will get of Battlefront 3. Because, again, I look at the old version of Battlefront 3, and I saw things that... I'm going to say this. It's, you know how screwed up it is in Battlefront? That, you know, a game, Sky... let me just... What that game again? I have it. Let me just look at this. Starlink. Yes, Starlink. When that game... And I even streamed it. It was fun. Starlink game. When they had that same type of... and I commented this when I did the stream. They actually had the ships go from outer atmosphere to the end. They actually showed that. And I'm like... I hate that type of gameplay element is not in Battlefront, the EA versions of Battlefront. How is that when your game series Starlink, which didn't do well, and you know because I think the Tours for Life stuff really hurt it, but it didn't do well, and then you have you know that sort of thing. That little game can do something like that. Why can't Star Wars do something like that? Why can't they do the atmosphere? And doing this type of things that people would love to play. They would love to have that. But yet, here we are. Battlefront 2, you know, And like this, Battlefront 1, you had lack of content and story and such. Battlefront 2, loot box. I'm wondering what type of EA stupidity is going to be for Battlefront 3. The game comes in and blows up your console. It blows up your PC. Heck, it already did to me. Heck, you have what Bethesda did, and Fallout, and and then you have EA with Anthem and everything else. Supposedly bricking PS4s. I don't know which one of them. I mean, what is going on with these next gen games bricking these consoles and such? This is why again I'm very worried and hesitant to play some of these games or get a PS4 because I might put the game disc in the console, the whole thing might blow up and take out half my house or something like that. You don't have to do. Yeah, I don't hear about this on the Switch or anything like that. Again, you don't see this stuff in the Switch. You know what I mean? Gosh. Well. Political humor. Oh, yes, I feel you, man. I feel you. That's probably was a one-time thing. I don't disagree. The old school Battlefront, once again, they had 1 and 2. Those were great. And I think Battlefront 3, Pandemic was doing something magical. That was in it. I truly believe that. There was something great there. There was greatness there. But again, this is next-gen gaming, and EA, we didn't get that. So instead, watch out, ladies and gentlemen, for Star Wars Battlefront 3. The game will literally blow up your console. I'm saying that right now. Put that right there. Recording that right now on the podcast. It's going to blow up your console. So that was fun. That was fun, ladies and gentlemen. And that's it for the show. Thank you so much for watching, listening, and all that jazz. And we will be, again, tomorrow. I'm going to try to get back into streaming again. Hopefully everything's going to be worked out there and all the good stuff. Because I'm finally not sick anymore. I can just finally do my thing. And after that, I'm going to finally finish up. I already finished up my Spider review. I'm going to upload that tonight. Then I'm going to do Slammiversary 2019, then all other stuff as well. So we're going to be doing some big things, positive things, and later on stuff, Last Viewer Standing, all that good stuff. I'm going to just be more focused and everything like that. So that's what I need to do. So I'm going to keep myself focused, and I'm going to keep myself driven. So with that, thank you so much for listening. It's Dukect here. Peace and love. I'll see y'all when I see y'all later.